What's going on, everybody? Coach Mike here for the second episode of Technique Tuesday here on Mike's Garage Gym YouTube channel, home of the Strength Coach Thoughts podcast. I know I've gone through a few name changes, but I think this is what I'm sticking with. So, Mike's Garage Gym, Strength Coach Thoughts podcast. So, today, Technique Tuesday, piggybacking off of the last Technique Tuesday I did a couple weeks ago. I know I've missed a few weeks. The last time, the first episode, I did back squat. Specifically high bar back squat for weightlifters. Today, I'm going to do front squat for weightlifters because weightlifting and athletics both require you to practice the front squat. So I say practice the front squat deliberately, right? The back squat, as I mentioned, was used for strength development. If you want your snatch and clean and jerk to go up, your squat has to go up. If you want stronger legs, more powerful legs, more explosive lower body power, you have to back squat. You have to have a strong back squat. Anybody telling you otherwise, no. I'll debate that all day. So you have to grow the back squat for everything to go up. The front squat is similar, where you do need to grow the front squat to keep up with specifically the clean, because when you catch the bottom of a clean, that's a front squat position. Even catching a power clean is a quarter front squat position. So no matter which way you spin it, you need to grow the front squat to keep up with your clean and jerk at least. For athletics, our athletic position is in that quarter squat up on the balls of our feet, ready to go. The stronger we can be, posteriorly as well with our back squat, but the stronger we can be anteriorly to be able to react off the balls of our feet, which is a lot of quad dominance as well as hamstring once we get into extension. But our quad dominant reaction is going to come from the front squat. In addition, differences between the back squat and front squat. The back squat, I talked about getting that nice tight back, pulling that bar and shrugging up into it to create that tension. The front squat is going to rest on our chest, on the front of us. So that's going to require us to have our elbows elevated higher to create that shelf across our shoulders, which I'm going to go through here in a minute. But creating that shelf, when we hit the bottom, it's all too easy to collapse our chest over and then try to bounce up. Maintaining that nice tall posture with our elbows up is going to create that upper back strength and stability that we're looking for in sport too. So no matter what position you're at in whatever sport, having a strong upper back position in a compromised position is only going to benefit you, right? I can't think of a sport where a strong upper back and good stability and posture through that back is going to be a bad thing. So, front squat. There's two ways to front squat. The way I say this is basically if you're starting out, you can learn it one way and then transition to the second way. If you're a weightlifter, I recommend exclusively learning the second way. If you have no shoulder, wrists, elbow injuries, I would recommend skipping the first way and really starting and learning the second way. The first way is only good for people with injuries. It's a way to take the stress off of some of the joints in the front rack position, but some of that stress is exactly what we're trying to train, that mobility. We're trying to loosen up the lats, loosen up the scaps, loosen up our shoulders, loosen up our arms and everything. That way we're able to actually be strong in those positions. So it's not as simple as, let me learn the first way, which I'll show you is the crisscross method. We learn the first way and then we're good there. That's not how this works. You should use the first way to develop strength into the second way. So the first way, I have my center knurling here centered on the rack, okay? All I'm going to do is make sure this bar is set to about chest height. I'm going to walk up, make sure that center knurling is centered, and I'm going to put my arms straight in front of me. Now the bar is resting on my shoulders. From here, right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder, elbows up. I am now in a crisscross position, okay? I can front squat here, and this takes any strain off the wrist, the elbows, and really the shoulders, because I can move around, do whatever, cha-cha slide, and the bar's not going to move. This is also a zombie front squat, which is another variation of the front squat that I believe is a good variation. However, it should not be replacing the front squat. It's a good warm-up, it's a good throw in there every now and then, but it is not replacing you developing the front squat. So crisscross grip is your first grip. And again, that's good for kids, beginners, people with injuries or lack of mobility that can't really get in the front rack position. But again, the goal should be to transition to the front rack position. Now, what is the front rack position? The front rack position, if you take your clean grip, so whatever grip you use for your clean and jerks, okay, that's where your hands go. All right, again, this should transfer to our cleans. I'm going to put my hands in that position. If you don't have a clean grip, you can take your thumbs, put it on the edge of the knurling, or grab the knurling itself, like put your pointer fingers around the knurling itself. The closer grip, the easier people tend to have getting their elbows up. But then again, you're going to struggle at the bottom because now you're super close and you're jamming the bar on your neck. Versus the wider grip, you can open your shoulders up a little bit and keep the bar out of your neck a little bit better, right? So you take your clean grip, same thing applies that we did for the crisscross grip. I'm going to center this bar on my chest. From here, I'm going to relax my elbows and shoulders, and I'm going to rest this bar in my shoulders. Again, if I let go, I'm not holding the bar with my hands. My hands are just keeping it in position. I'm holding the bar with my shoulders and my chest. All right, so I find that clean grip, center knurling, and walk myself in, rotate my elbows up. Now, my elbows, since I don't have weight on the bar, it's not going to be a perfect front rack position. But this is your front rack position, all right? So, bar is sitting on my shoulders. Elbows would be up if I had weight on the bar. And from here, everything is the same as the squat that I mentioned in the squat technique video. All right? So, from here, I'm going to drive my elbows up actively the entire time. The goal is to never dip my elbows in my chest. I'm going to sit my butt back and push my knees forward into a nice tall front rack position. Feet are flat. My center of gravity is through the middle of my feet. And my elbows are up. My chest is tall from here. I'm going to drive my elbows up, lead with my elbows, and drive the legs, right? So lead with the elbows, drive the legs up into that front squat. So differences between the back and the front squat, again, the front squat's anteriorly loaded. So what I mean is back squat, we have the bar on our back and we're shrugging up, pulling down, creating that nice tight back. The front squat, it's on our chest, so it's on the front, the anterior of our body, which is going to require a little more core activation in order to keep our chest up. It's going to require a little more quad activation. Again, I'm saying a little bit more. It's not like front squat develops your quads and back squat develops your hamstrings. That's not a thing anymore. That used to be a thought. That's not the truth anymore. So, never was the truth, but we know better now. So if you're even foot pressure through the floor, you're driving up, all your leg muscles are going to be used. Your back, your hips, everything is still going to be used. It's just which one's predominant based on where the center of gravity is with the barbell. So that's why it's important to develop both your back and front squat. Typically, most people are going to back squat more than they can front squat. That's just because of the limiting nature of the front squat. But they both should rise symmetrically. For example, I have a 210 kilo front squat and a 250 kilo back squat. Those are training maxes right now that haven't been updated in a while, so they're probably different. But 40 kilo difference between front and back squat. That could be to a variety of things, back, core, whatever you want to call it. But that's an average gap between front and back squat. So this has been Technique Tuesday. We covered the front squat. We covered two different positions of the front squat, the crisscross position and the front rack position. Everything is the same as the back squat when you squat. Hips go back, knees come forward. We're trying to maintain that verticality because we're doing a vertical sport when we talk about weightlifting, or we're practicing that vertical power when we're talking about athleticism. All right, if you like this video, make sure you leave a like, you subscribe to the channel, and you comment down below how effective you think the front squat is and how to effectively use it with your athletes. I've been Coach Mike. I'll see you guys next time.